day Pablo went down, the Cali Cartel became public enemy number one. Their operations had grown into the biggest cocaine cartel in history. It was Cocaine Incorporated. They ran it like a Fortune 500 company. People want to see the Godfathers in handcuffs, and that's what they're gonna get.
Welcome back to TrueCrime Page, where we don't just tell crime stories, we expose the power behind them. Today, we step into Colombia, an organization that made Escobar look like an amateur. The cartel that bribed its way to the top, laundered billions through pharmacies and radio stations, helped destroy the world's most wanted man, and almost walked away clean. If you're drawn to the kind of true crime that uncovers the strategy behind the violence, subscribe now and join a community that refuses the surface-level version of history. Now, let's go back to where the real takeover began. Cali, Colombia, early 1970s. A ruthless kidnapping crew called Las Chemas is operating in the shadows of one of South America's most beautiful cities. Not legends yet, not cartel bosses yet. Just hungry men who figured out that the fastest way to get rich in Colombia wasn't to work for money, it was to take it. Their targets weren't random. Las Chemas hunted the wealthy, the connected, the kind of people whose families would pay anything and tell nobody. Swiss diplomat Herman Buff, gone, grabbed clean. Student Zach Martin, vanished without a trace. Each target chosen deliberately. Each ransom negotiated like a contract. Because to these men, that's exactly what it was. By the time it was over, $700,000. In the early 1970s in Colombia. That wasn't just money, that was startup capital. Gilberto Rodriguez Orejuela, his brother Miguel, and their partner, Jose Santa Cruz Londoño, known simply as Chepe. Stop right there. They were not the men you picture when you picture a drug lord. No gold chains, no compound full of tigers. These were educated men, polished men. Men who understood that the most powerful thing a criminal could possess wasn't a weapon. It was respectability. Their neighbors liked them. Their community respected them. That wasn't charm. That was a strategy. One they'd spend the next 2 decades perfecting. But first, they needed a product. They started with marijuana. It moved well. The money was decent. Decent wasn't what these men were after. Then the 1980s arrived. America discovered cocaine, and demand didn't just grow, it exploded. Wall Street was doing it. Hollywood was doing it. Nightclubs from Miami to New York were built around it. Someone had to supply all of it. Gilberto, Miguel, and Chepe looked at marijuana, looked at cocaine, and made a decision that would reshape the entire world's drug trade. They pivoted, immediately, completely, and never looked back. Just like that, the kidnappers became kings. But a billion-dollar empire isn't just about product. You need infrastructure. And these men were about to build the most sophisticated criminal infrastructure the world had ever seen. Forget every cartel you've seen in a movie, the shootouts, the cash on kitchen tables, the boss with machine guns at the door. What the Cali Cartel built looked nothing like that. It looked like a corporation, because that's exactly what it was. At the top, 4 men. Gilberto Rodriguez Orejuela, the chess player. Gilberto didn't think about today, not even next month. He thought in years, in decades, in moves that made no sense to anyone else. Until 5 steps later, checkmate. Miguel was the engine. While his brother played the long game, Miguel ran everything else. The finances, the operations, the 1,000 small decisions that keep a multi-billion-dollar machine from falling apart. Gilberto was the brain. Miguel was the heartbeat. Chepe Santa Cruz was the logistics, mastermind. International transportation, distribution networks, moving hundreds of tons of cocaine from South America into the streets of America and Europe, without losing a single shipment. Not luck, genius, and Pacho Herrera. While the DEA stared at Medellin, Pacho quietly flew to New York and built the cartel's entire American distribution network from scratch. By the time anyone noticed, it was already too late. 4 men at the top. But empires need soldiers. At its peak, the Cali Cartel had up to 6,000 members. Not foot soldiers on corners. Chemists, bankers, lawyers, accountants, intelligence operatives. They built a cell structure, independent units, sealed off from each other. If one cell got caught, it couldn't expose the next. It simply didn't know enough. The whole machine was designed to survive being partially destroyed. And the shipments? Cocaine inside lead ingots, hidden in dog food cans, concealed inside legitimate cargo moving through ports, processing thousands of containers daily. Customs were looking for something suspicious. Cali gave them nothing. Now, where does $12 billion a year actually go? This is where it gets disturbing. Not under a mattress, not in a vault. The Cali Cartel took their cocaine money and bought Colombia. Piece by piece, quietly, legally. Banco de Trabajadores, a real bank. Real deposits, clean withdrawals. First Inter-America's Bank in Panama. Dig deep enough into that one, and you find Semyon Mogilevich, one of the most feared figures in the Russian mafia. The Cali Cartel wasn't just Colombian, it was global. Drogas La Rebaja, 417 pharmacies across Colombia, worth $216 million. Every prescription filled, every aspirin sold, all of it washing dirty money into clean profit. Grupo Radio Colombiano, 30 radio stations. They didn't just own the drug trade, they owned the airwaves, they controlled what people heard, which politicians sounded like heroes. America de Cali, a professional soccer team. Thousands of fans cheering in a stadium built on cocaine money. Not one of them knew it. Real estate in Colombia, Panama, Miami, New York, Spain, multiple continents, multiple names, multiple shell companies. They weren't hiding dirty money. They were building a parallel economy, a shadow Colombia sitting right on top of the real one, invisible to almost everyone. But to understand how they got powerful enough to build all of this, you have to understand the war they fought and won. Here's what history doesn't always make clear. The Cali Cartel and the Medellin Cartel weren't always enemies. There was a time they worked together. 1981. Kidnappings are terrorizing Colombia's wealthy elite, including cartel families. So both organizations do something extraordinary. They sit down, they deal. Together they create mass, muerte a secuestradores, death to kidnappers. They also divide America like two companies splitting a market. Medellin takes Miami, Cali takes New York. Clean, efficient. For a while it works, but markets get crowded. By 1987 the deal is dead. Competition has become contempt, and Escobar, a man who answered every problem with maximum violence, decides to destroy Cali the only way he knows how. He starts bombing their pharmacies, Drogas La Rebaja. 85 bombings between 1988 and 1990. 27 people dead, shattered glass and scattered medicine across cities all over Colombia. Escobar wasn't attacking a business. He was sending a message. I can reach anything you build. I can burn it all down. And here is where the two cartels show exactly who they are. Escobar's answer was always the same. More fire, more blood, more noise. Bomb a presidential candidate. Blow a passenger jet from the sky. Declare war on the state. He wanted fear. He wanted the world to tremble. Cali looked at all of that and saw a man digging his own grave with a bomb in each hand. Their answer wasn't bombs. It was intelligence. They co-founded Los Pepes, people persecuted by Pablo Escobar, a vigilante organization feeding real-time intelligence on Escobar's movements, his safe houses, his communications, his patterns, directly to Colombia's search block and the CIA. Every time Escobar moved, Cali knew, and Cali told the people hunting him. But the master stroke, the single most audacious move the Cali Cartel ever made, was one man Jorge Salcedo, former military intelligence officer. Cali hired him for one purpose: assassinate Pablo Escobar, find him, kill him, end the war. What Cali didn't know, Salcedo had already made a different decision. He flipped, walked into a CIA safe house, sat down, and started talking about Cali's surveillance technology, their communications, their hideouts, their money, the entire structure of the organization. But before any of that came back to hurt Cali, Salcedo's intelligence helped finish Escobar first. December 2nd, 1993. Escobar, cornered on a rooftop in Medellin. One bullet. Gone. The search block celebrated. The government celebrated. The world celebrated. And in Cali, 4 men in suits raised a quiet glass and said nothing, because here is the difference, stated plainly. Escobar bombed the presidential candidate. Cali bribed him. Escobar declared war on the media. Cali owned the stations. Escobar pulled the trigger himself. Cali hired someone else, and when that someone turned out to be an informant, they still got what they wanted. 80% of the world's cocaine, theirs. Every major route, theirs. The politicians, the banks, the airwaves, the pharmacies, all of it, theirs. They were untouchable, or so they thought. If you're not subscribed yet, now's the time. Because this isn't just history, it's a blueprint. Remember Salcedo? Escobar was dead, but Salcedo was still talking. Only now, he wasn't talking about Escobar. The man they hired to protect them was dismantling them, piece by piece. And in Washington, the timing was perfect. The moment Escobar died, America's kingpin strategy pivoted, away from Medellin, straight toward Cali. For years, Cali had hidden behind Escobar's noise. While the world watched Medellin burn, Cali stayed invisible. But that invisibility was over. 1995. The dominoes start falling, and once they start, they don't stop. June 9th, 1995. Gilberto Rodriguez Orejuela, the chess player, arrested, at home. No shootout, no escape. Just handcuffs, and the slow realization that someone had told them exactly where to look. Then Miguel, caught in a raid. The heartbeat stopped. Then Chepe, the man who moved hundreds of tons of cocaine without detection, captured at a restaurant, eating dinner like any other Tuesday. One by one, the others followed. The board of directors of the world's most powerful criminal empire, walking into police stations, heads down, hands out. 67 tons of cocaine seized in a single 1991 operation. 15 million in assets frozen, properties seized, accounts locked. But here's what reveals just how vast this empire was. Even after all of that, it took another decade to finish the job. 2006, the Rodriguez brothers extradited to Miami. They plead guilty and forfeit $2.1 billion. Not the whole empire, just what could actually be found and proven. The U.S. Treasury sanctions over 300 entities, businesses, banks, properties, individuals across multiple countries. And it still isn't until 2014 that America officially declares the empire dismantled. 20 years to dismantle one organization. Gilberto Rodriguez Orejuela, the chess player, dies in a U.S. federal prison in 2022. Quietly, no headlines, no rooftop, no bomb. Exactly the way he always lived. But here's the thing about dismantling a corporation. You can take down the CEO. The business model lives on. The Cali Cartel didn't die. It shattered into dozens of smaller, harder-to-track pieces, each one carrying Cali's DNA, each one knowing exactly how the game was played. The Norte del Valle cartel rose first from the wreckage, run by men who had studied Gilberto and Miguel up close. Then Norte del Valle shattered too, into the Rastrojos and the Machos. Two factions bleeding each other across Colombia well into the 2000s. But successor violence isn't the real legacy. The real legacy is the blueprint, the cell structure, the legitimate fronts, bribery over bullets, operations compartmentalized to survive partial discovery. The idea that a criminal empire should look, on the surface, like absolutely nothing. Every major cartel that followed studied that blueprint. Every sophisticated trafficking network operating today owes something to what four men built in Cali in the 1980s. And the reach went further than most realize. Liverpool, England. A trafficker named Curtis Warren, known as Cocky, built one of the most significant drug networks in British history, connected directly to Cali's supply chains. The cartel's reach had extended into council estates in northern England, and it didn't stop with the cartel's fall. February 2026. A British trafficker linked to Cali's successor networks found dead in Dubai. Circumstances mysterious. Investigation ongoing. The reminder unmistakable. These networks are not history, they are present tense. Think the laundering stopped with pharmacies and radio stations? Think again. 2025 DEA report. $19 million laundered through Coinbase. A decade-long operation tied directly to Cali's successor networks. They started with banks, then pharmacies, then radio stations, now crypto. The methods evolve. The instinct never changes. Hide the money in plain sight. In Colombia, the Gulf Clan, a distant Cali successor, resumed peace talks with the government in February 2026. The conversation about ending drug violence in Colombia is still happening, 30 years after Cali fell. In Mexico, 92 cartel members from the Sinaloa and Zetas extradited to the U.S. in 2025 and 2026. Part of a regional crackdown that traces its origin directly to the pressure created when Cali collapsed. The fall of one empire set off a chain reaction still echoing today. Most people found the Cali Cartel through Narcos Season 3. Good show. But the real weight of what these men built, television, has never captured it. Because television needs a villain you can understand, a face you can hate, a moment where justice arrives and everything makes sense. The real Cali Cartel doesn't give you that. It gives you four men in suits, a pharmacy on your corner, a radio station playing your favorite songs. $12 billion a year hiding in plain sight. So what do we take from all of this? The Cali Cartel proved one thing that should make every government, every agency, every society deeply uncomfortable. The most dangerous organization in the room is never the loudest. It's the one that looks legitimate, the one filing tax returns, sponsoring the local football club, owning the station, reading you the evening news, filling your prescription. Escobar was loud, terrifying. He got the headlines, the movies, the t-shirts, and Escobar is dead, killed on a rooftop at 53, hunted down by the very intelligence the Cali Cartel fed to his enemies. Cali didn't fall because they got sloppy, not because the DEA got smarter. They fell because of one man, the same man they hired to kill Escobar, who turned around and killed them instead. Jorge Salcedo, the chess piece they forgot to watch. And the most unsettling truth of everything you've heard today? The structures they built are still standing. Different names, different countries, different technology, same logic, same instinct, same blueprint. Cell systems still running, political corruption still embedded. The idea that the best criminal organization is the one that looks like no criminal organization at all. Still the most effective strategy in the game. Escobar is the legend. The Cali Cartel is the blueprint. And blueprints don't die with the architect. If this changed how you think about organized crime, the Norte del Valle Cartel, Cali's successor, is somehow an even wilder story. Violent, chaotic, everything Cali swore it would never become. Before you go, one question. Who was actually more dangerous? Escobar The man who declared war on the world? Or the Cali Cartel? The men who quietly bought it? Drop your answer below. Like this if it hit different. And if you appreciate deep, detailed crime breakdowns, not the surface level stuff, make sure you're subscribed. This channel is building a community that wants the full story, not just the headlines.